Welcome to Leisure Gamer Network, a home for working professionals, students, parents, or anyone else with a passion for gaming but have time constraints on when you can play. We review games after an hour of gameplay to see if they grabbed our attention and are worth your time playing.
So yes, it began with a dream.
Alan Wake is a game that follows an out-of-the-ordinary formula. At face value, the game seems fairly far-fetched, a third-person action-adventure shooter about a best-selling thriller author who relives the story of his unwritten novel Inside a Nightmare. However, the game is produced by Remedy, the same studio that created the addictively cool Bullet Time with their Max Payne series, so the gamers can expect a highly polished action game focused around a responsive combat system. Combine that with a thrilling story revealed in an episodic format, along with an atmosphere that can give you goosebumps just from looking at it, and you have a fresh new gameplay experience that is Alan Wake. Alan is a writer who is suffering from a 2-year stretch of writer's block, and he goes on vacation to an idyllic Pacific Northwest town called Bright Falls. He hopes to be able to recharge his creativity, but suffers from the persistent worry from both his wife and agent about his writer's block. The game starts inside a nightmare Alan is having, which serves as a tutorial for the game, but also foreshadows the intense moments Alan will encounter later on. The game shifts back to reality as he is suddenly awakened by Alice, his wife, while they are on the ferry to Bright Falls. In town, you look for the owner of your vacation cabin to obtain the key, while encountering some eccentric townfolk, like these two gents who are rocking out to Coconut by Henry Nielsen. You finally get the key from a veiled, creepy lady who pops out of literally nowhere and head to your cabin. After getting settled in, Alan goes for a walk. Hearing Alice's screams, he runs back to the house to find her being dragged into the black lake water by some unknown force. Alan swan dives in after her and loses consciousness as he hits the water. He awakes amidst a car crash, and while he begins to collect himself to look for help, you don't know if he is dreaming or still in reality. You quickly find out that events from a novel you never knew you had written are coming to life around you. Pages to the unwritten novel are spread around the world, and each one foreshadows grim events that are about to take place, and helps answer questions to what is going on.
The Taken stood before me. It was impossible to focus on it, as if it stood in a blind spot caused by a brain tumor and eye disease. It was bleeding shadows.
A large part of Alan Wake is the contrast between light and darkness, which pervades the story and is a large component of the combat. In order to damage enemies, you have to break the darkness surrounding each enemy with a beam from your flashlight. Then you can use traditional weapons to finish them off. The controls respond well and combat feels comfortable. Keeping enemies in front of you in order to expose them to the light is the only way to make it out of a fight alive. But if they get too close, Alan could perform a dodge. However, this takes some timing to get down. Light also serves as a protection from darkness and regenerates Alan's health when standing in a well-lit area. Set in the murky forest of the Pacific Northwest, both the graphics and the sound create an atmosphere of pure isolation that Alan must work through in order to find answers to his wife's disappearance. Vegetation sways in the breeze, the moon shines through thick fog, and the underscore of strings make you subconsciously grip the controller tighter and tighter as you progress through the darkness. The flashlight that serves you so well in combat also assists in exploration, which reveals hidden areas and new paths. Not only are the graphics and lighting effects enjoyable to look at, but the flashlight will add to the tension by illuminating only a sliver of light in a world engulfed by complete darkness, both literally and metaphorically. The game does a good job of introducing the controls and how to play the game through the introduction sequence. Once the player understands how to effectively defeat enemies, the game doesn't provide much of a challenge within the first hour. If you're defeated, or fall off a cliff like I did here, and here, you simply respawn from the last checkpoint, which saves after every significant run-in with the enemies. Therefore, there isn't much painstaking replay to do if you're forced to reload a checkpoint. You can regenerate your health from light sources, which are prevalent throughout the levels, so as long as you can survive from one light source to the next, you won't have to reload a checkpoint. In the end, Alan Wake snags a standard rating for difficulty because of the ability to choose between 3 different difficulty settings and the unique gameplay that the gamer will have to learn in order to succeed.
My head pounded with a concussion. I'd never fired a gun outside a shooting range, and now I just killed someone.
Alan Wake earns a rating of evening for time commitment. The pacing of the game is very well thought out. Smaller exploration sections of the level funnel into larger areas of the map, which might feature cutscenes, puzzles, or a variation on the combat. Then these larger areas push Alan back into the forest with a more narrow focus until he stumbles across a larger area. Combined with the frequent saving feature, Alan Wake can be enjoyed in less than 1 hour blocks of time. You will have to stay on your toes in order to survive, but luckily since the game creates such a thrilling atmosphere, which commands your attention at every scene, you won't have any trouble staying engaged.
The bulldozer had gone over the cliff with the office. I hope Stucky had suffered the same fate.
Alan Wake is a well-polished, intelligently designed game and earns the rating of yes, but since the game is a thriller, you will have to be in the right mindset before popping it into your system. Alan Wake is not a game that you can wind down to right before bedtime. Instead, you will want to wait until the house is empty, turn off all the lights, crank up the surround sound, and enjoy the feeling of the hair standing up on the back of your neck. When the timing is right to play Alan Wake, you will enjoy a game full of realistic character development, a beautiful atmosphere, and a well-refined combat system that pays tribute to a studio committed to creating great video game experiences. For your own thoughts on the game, post in the comment section below, and remember to subscribe to become part of the Leisure Gamer Network. Until next time, enjoy gaming.
They call the Sandman, tiptoes to my room every night, and just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all